Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, beloveds. I hope you're well. My name is Kristie McKinley. I am a Reiki Master Teacher living here in the beautiful city of Chattanooga, Tennessee. And this today's internal exercise is it's actually kind of two asks in a sense. The first one is the title of this live is how important are you to you? And the second ask I'll get to in a second. So I have for the longest time, and it's really, I continue to be blown away by divine timing. A lot of like my Facebook memories the last couple of days that I've posted in the past have just kind of shown back up. And it's like, oh, wow, that apparently, that was apparently um, something that needs to be carried on into the cosmos. So it's always super glad to discover them again. Super glad and grateful, which I guess is redundant, to share and just add all that extra insight to what's occurred between the time I originally posted it until this very moment. So there's a couple of different things, and I was just kind of thinking about what I was going to talk about, in addition to just to kind of add flavor to everything. And the one thing I definitely want to point out is we are responsible for our own well being. And I know there's a lot of things in our lives, especially depending on how we were raised and how we were brought up, the culture and the family conversation, as it were, about how things are supposed to be, and that can drive the narrative on who we are. It can tend to. Sometimes in our awareness, where we have the space to be aware of realizing, something doesn't feel quite right. There is that space. You just need a little bit of space to provide the momentum and the energy to like make that change safely, relatively easily. Asterisk. um, it can bring you a deep and profound, huh, that can speak volumes into your own transformation. So, part of that is earlier I reshared a one of my first Facebook lives about keeping a list of things that as far as self care, and this is the original one. It's so worn, and I've spilled water on it in tea. And there's something I've written that I have no idea what that word is, but it's okay. But I still keep it here by my desk to remind me that it's still possible to, in those moments where I'm just like, I look and say, oh, that reminds me that I can take a pause, look and see what I can do quickly and easily to help me come back to center, to choose something that's important for me to do for myself that helps me. And this week when I initially did the posts with the question of how important are you to you, has come from an entire lifetime where the first part of that is where I was a child. I was, raised and supported by adults, and whether it be like, my parents, caregivers, teachers, daycare workers, what have you. And for the longest time, just living that narrative because I'm a kid. Oh, there's an adult and a caregiver. So, I'll listen to them for, all the reasons that you do, either for because love and trust them, or you're afraid of them. I will leave that story to aside for another time. But as you get older and you begin to think for yourself, make a way for yourself, become like, usually lots of folks, as soon as they become 18, depending on what country you're in, you are legally your own adult. You can move out of the house, go be your own person, and then that's it. But we're also, have all those little rules and those little things that, because we haven't had the space just yet to replace them with things that light us up a touch bit more, that aid in our transformation just a little bit more, it can feel a little bit weird when you try and make a change, even if you know a change is important. Sometimes it can feel overwhelming if you don't have a resource at the time or an idea of how you want to make a change. It can feel like, oh my God, what do I do? That is when it's really wonderful to pause, whether it be through prayer and or meditation, to get centered and figure out what's important for you, what helps you feel your best self. That's why I encourage, and something that I do when I write my goals, in addition to like my goals of completing these particular meditations and courses, like how do I want to feel? Heard, loving, confident, and flow, just all the things. And that helps me when I actually write out my goals to kind of, it drives what it is I want to do and reaffirms and reconfirms things that I feel are important to me. And the lovely thing about goals, if you're kind of attending to them consistently, helps you feel safe enough to change what needs to be changed. Like, I had one set of ideas that I thought, oh, I want to do this and like, this to happen in 5 years. Well, as time went on and I realized, wow, I love this, but it's kind of taken my energy away from this. And this is really important to me. And I love this. And I'm just going to set this to the side and just figure out a way later on when this is going and all this momentum is, in a good space and I've got maybe some people or some folks, helping me with this, I can just come back to this and devote my energy. One thing that's coming to mind is not feeling like I'm abandoning this. I'm just allowing myself grace to acknowledge that right now the container and the energy to do both is not sustainable. I recognize at the same time that what I, for the most part, interpreted as impatience was just really excitement to see it all kind of come into like physical being, and I'm just like, oh, okay. And to not judge or crap on myself when I'm saying, oh, I'm just being impatient. There's nothing wrong with being impatient unless you're encroaching on somebody else's space to relieve your impatience. It's one thing if you're excited. Oh, that's awesome. I think that's wonderful. But if you're being impatient to the point where you're not being considerate of someone or someone's else to relieve your impatience, that's a bit rude. Yeah, that's a bit rude. So it just comes back to what is important to you. What in that being important to you, can you, and if it's, what's important to you is also, it just fills you with a lightness. Your heart just kind of like, oh, it's exciting. I love this. I'm just so excited for what's going to unfold. And then just, I know for me, I used to be, I want this all done like right now. But what I have learned is, yeah, that would be great if it was all kind of done right now. But I've really and truly appreciated the journey of seeing what unfolds in natural time, like steady progression versus here to here, and then missing all of this beauty in between, all of these lessons, all of this space to transform and be greater, more than if I just skipped this part in the center. You lose so much wisdom when you're so focused on getting from here to here that you're doing yourself a disservice, and it's really hard to be fulfilled when you have zero interest in being a part of any of this. And actually it's not really very fun because there's no real good story to tell. Like, yeah, and then I started out here and just all this stuff happened, and then all of a sudden it was done, and then, it's very high vibe if you can embrace the journey as best you can, so that all that wisdom comes to you in a much more high vibrating way than if you just kind of just checked out during the whole process. And checked out means a lot of different things. Addiction comes to mind. And it doesn't have to be necessarily like drugs or alcohol or whatever, or food or sex or water. You could just be in the habit of just overworking and just being so just like, ah, that you just aren't as fully aware and mindful of the bit in the center and the appreciation of the journey than if you would. Then you were just like, allow things to unfold naturally, and unfold naturally, and laugh at yourself when you fumble your words because it's still kind of early. You've only had one cup of coffee, and probably just the one cup of coffee because it's hot here. But what's important to you? How important are you to you? Um, if you're struggling with that, take a pause and just kind of sort out why, journaling the why of how important you are to you. When I in the post that I initially did about asking the question of how important you are to you, it kind of the kind of the anchoring question was sleep. I know for me, lots of times when I didn't have sleep and I was tired, I had to take some pause and I had to accept a lot of things that I was allowing, accept a lot of things that I wasn't allowing for myself. And for me, when I noticed I was tired and I felt like I wasn't getting anything done, I had to take a step back and look at, well, why are you tired? Well, this, and this. Why are you not getting anything done? Because, and for me, it was I was taking care of other things that either weren't important, um, someone else had asked me to that still wasn't important or like life threatening or whatever. And then by the time I devoted all or just about all of my energy to that, by the time I came to like my own stuff, whether it was doing a post or research something or reaching out to someone, I the momentum was like so diminished. um I was exhausted, I was tired. And then because I hadn't really had the time or didn't take the time to try and sort out why am I tired and not getting stuff done, um irritation, felt irritation, resentment, anger. Um, I gave my power away to the people I was angry at. I was like, oh, I don't, use blah 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 blah. Why can't you? And I'm just like, how about you do your stuff first? So, with the exception, I know lots of folks who watch this are parents, and if you need to take care of your little ones in the morning before you do your own thing. I have a 19-year-old cat who is a princess that my husband and I have enabled severely. So one of the first things that I have to do is feed her because if I don't, it's she's a diva, and it's okay. I don't apologize for that because she's awesome and I love her terribly. And so, she's a priority. But it's still one of the things I do before I really get out of bed is I drink my water. That's the one thing I do for me. I drink my water, I take care of the cat, and then I go on about my day. A lot of things that can, another thing that I noticed is why am I being tired is this, a lot of in that is self-sabotage. Oh, I'm distracting myself. Well, why am I self-sabotaging myself? Well, I'm afraid to do this. Well, why are you afraid? And then it goes back, and it's layers, and it's not even spoilers, or maybe it's not spoilers, you probably realize it's not even layers of stuff that you're uncovering. It just kind of, and it's cyclical. It's uneven layers of stuff that you're uncovering, and it's cyclical because when you feel like you're coming back to the same theme, be aware that you are aware that you're coming back to the same theme, and then also be aware that it gives you another opportunity to look at it from a different angle, from a newer, different, fresher perspective, because you have the added experience of time, you have the added wisdom to be able to sort out, okay, I'm coming back to this theme. What's going on? Again, pause, journal, talk it out. You have any idea how often I talk to myself? Um, because sometimes saying it outside your head is like, oh, or just doing a thing, doing movement, anything to just kind of help the shift so you have that awareness and realization. So, how important are you to you? And my second ask is, if you have been doing this work and you feel like you've kind of come to a place where I'm just like, feeling a bit stuck, feeling like I keep recircling back to this theme of exhaustion, which may or may not be low self worth, low self confidence, trust issues, and where is that coming from? And you might have an idea, notice what thoughts, memories, sensations, any senses, any of your senses that are engaged, what comes to mind. Again, journal on it, pray on it, meditate, reach out to a professional if it's really just something that's just so intense. You're just like, ugh. Honor how you are feeling. Be around those who just know and love you as you are, blemishes and all, and are just like, hold space for you and listen to what you have to say. And if nothing else, if they at least, I'm really sorry that you're going through this. I feel that that is enough to feel like, okay, I've been heard. And just sit in the transformation of that. So I hope you are well. If you have your own little start your own, my ask is you start your own, if you have not already, your own little list of things that light you up and make you happy. I am about to, as soon as I get through sending this off and posting it everywhere across the universe, I am going to go do something that I love doing, and that is volunteer gardening at Welcome Home of Chattanooga. I will probably, and I meant to post there, I'll post it here after I get through. Yeah, because I was just like, forgot to do that. I was all like excited and ready to do this, and I forgot to pull up their stuff to add the link. But it's okay. I love Welcome Home of Chattanooga. I'm volunteering to do their gardening. It's very grounding for me, and it's important to me to be of service in a way that helps me, it helps me feel good to do good things for good people. So, if you are not local, or if you're local, if you want to volunteer, that's the reason I'm going to post their, I'm going to tag them in this post. So you're going to reach out to them. They do volunteer orientation. Because I work with a lot of other people, like out in the world, I don't really do like companion care. But I still wanted to be of service, and the gardening is really grounding and it's really lovely. And I'm beginning to remember plants and things, because I realized I've been so cooped up inside the last 2 years with all the things that I'm just like, forgot that this is a weed. So I'm going to go post this, and I love you and be well. Namaste.